Hi there, my name is Marcia Williams, and I'm here to teach you how to upholster bike seats. Now, why upholster bike seats? Of course, you have general disrepair like this. The seat covers are ripped, like these. You can tear them off. It's important when stripping these bike seats to take out all the tacks and staples. So the tacks and staples, or the staples have all been removed. The hardware, keep it handy. But at any rate, these are some of the examples of bike seats. Some of them have damaged foam that might need to be repaired. Here's an example of something that needs repaired foam. Here's some that don't have any foam at all. So actually you can add your own foam and repair these. Okay? So let's go on to look further at some of the materials that we may need to be able to do this job. All right? First of all, we'll need foam to repair some of the foam that has been damaged. Here's different thicknesses of foam. Now this is actually like a memory foam, and it might be just important to put it over something that has some damage, but it's still, you don't want to add more bulk to it, but you do want to have it kind of be smooth throughout. So that's an idea. Putting a foam like this on something that might not have any foam at all. You might want to put foam like this on. Some of the ideas that I had were using quilt batting. This is like a cotton quilt batting, and you can put it over some of the rough areas. For instance, this might be a little bit rough, but if you put something like this on, it might smoothen it out. Same thing with this old fleecy kind of blanket. You can put that on there and it'll smooth it all out so that when covering it, it'll be smoother. Okay, those are my ideas on making it easier that way. There are different types of fabric materials that you might cover the seats with. Now, some of the things that didn't work were leather. Let me see where the leather is. The leather and vinyl without any kind of backing. The staples went right through it.
Fabric
and the leather,
backing.
Without a fabric backing, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. And then this is leather, real leather, and it was just difficult to work with. Bulky. It didn't really stretch well. So those things are things that I probably would not
Do not use again.
Right. And then we have this
now, the
is
things
actually
that worked.
composite type. It's called recycled leather. You can see that it has a leather type backing, but the vinyl, the top of it is actually a vinyl. And it's easy to work with. I've made several different bike seat covers, and it seems to work pretty easily to stretch and to basically just works easy. Okay, so that's an advantage. These are UV stabilized vinyls. Comes in a variety of colors. Depending on where you are locally, it might be hard to find these. These are marine grade, and they
like for boat seats.
Boat seats, something that you're going to have in
from an upholstery dealer.
Something that's going to be outside a lot. Now, unfortunately,
like
the recycled leather is not UV stabilized, and that's one of the drawbacks. But if somebody is going to be taking their bike in at night and not leaving it to the elements all the time, it probably won't matter what it's covered in. So those are things that we can use to cover things with. Now, as far as tools, when upholstering something, you're going to need to take out the staples. Make sure you take out all the staples. This is a staple remover. This is a tack remover, and I use that a lot to take out staples. These are pliers. When you're taking out staples, there's sometimes little staples still left in.
And if you don't have fancy tools, you can always use a screwdriver followed by pliers.
Right. And then I like to use
Flathead screwdriver.
2 different kinds of scissors. Now, where's my other pair of scissors? Here's my big scissors. I use those to cut my material. Okay, and I use a littler pair of scissors for, here's my other pair of scissors. Okay, I use these are hair cutting scissors that I use to make little snips when I'm cutting the vinyl around the seat to move it in. Sometimes clamps help when you're trying to have something held in place, and if you don't have clamps, you can always use clothespins. When there are places when working on doing this job, there's places where you're trying to tuck the vinyl in and it's hard to get it any place. A knife seems to be a good tool to use to do that with. When you're gluing something, I'll give an example. Okay. Whenever you're gluing something, now this fell off. This is an old bike seat. You're going to want to replace this and put it back on. The best glue that I found is this 313 Fast Hack Upholstery Adhesive. It's the best. You'll find you glue to one side, and then you glue to this side. Wait till it's a little bit tacky, and it will glue. It'll glue very quickly. I use the same technique when applying new foam to this or anything else to this. I use this type of glue. Now, if you can't find that, I found this in a craft store. It's just an adhesive. You look for acid-free, high-tack, multi-purpose, and it may not be as good, but you can work it. Now you can see that this is already adhered to it. So that was very quick. Some people try to use like Loctite. It's a vinyl fabric and plastic. I suppose that can be used. Try it out and see if it works for you. I glued a few things with it and it didn't seem to be, real difficult to work with, but I find this is easier. The only disadvantage is you're gluing something with, and it's a spray. So while spraying, you're always going to have some runoff. So you need to have your area covered with paper so that you don't make a mess out of things. So that covers that. Another thing that I use is I use a blow dryer, and that helps to heating the vinyl up, or any of the material, heating it so that it's easier to pull around the edges. So that's another thing. I use an air compressor. If you try to use anything else, these are made out of plastic, and as long as you're stapling them into an area where there's foam, you're going to be able to at least use 3/8 of an inch tacks. Otherwise, try to use shorter. I have 1/4 inch tacks, and but I try to use the longest tacks that I can. Now you'll find that there's probably going to be areas you cannot tack easily to, and that is why I have the glue. Okay, so that's it for
setup.
That's it for that. We're going to have to probably go on to another lesson on teaching you how to actually do some of the work.
Thank you, Mom.